What's up, Sooner Nation? As we embark on the OU West Virginia game at the Palace on the Prairie at 6 o'clock, lots to talk about. Hearts are hurting after the last loss. We're going to talk about others that are hurting, maybe injury report here to drop to you. Before we get started, make sure you have subscribed to the Sooner Surge. Obviously, the biggest news, the biggest guy everyone wants to know about is Danny Stutzman. What we do know is this. He practiced. He has practiced. Uh, to what extent, uh, to how much pressure he's put on that ankle, that is to be seen, I guess. I personally expect to see Danny Stutzman on the field. Some.
Yeah, me as well. I expect to see Stutzman out there. Now, Jeremy, I agree some to what extent that we see him because there's some question on, well, is he truly 100%? Is he even 90%? Now, I think that Brent Venables is obviously going to approach this with caution because Danny Stutzman's the best player on your defense. Should be a Butkus semifinalist if he wouldn't have got robbed for it. So it's just that I know Brent Venables knows the risk of playing someone on potentially a hurt ankle. So I expect Stutzman, if he's not 100%, to not have a complete and heavy full game load.
Hey, I would expect – I know y'all are saying he'll probably play some, but here's the thing. What Kip did last week, to me, if Danny is going to risk either injuring it for later in the year or if he just can't go at maybe 80% even, I think they just run Kip out there. Kip played so well last week. I don't think so. I think it'll be interesting to see how well he is. I know he practiced. He wants to give it a go probably. And he may be healthy enough to play. And maybe the good thing about it is that even if he does play some and not all, you can throw Kip in there, give him a break, and it's not going to really be a big drop-off the way Kip's playing right now. So
yeah, and there's another ankle injury I think we have to talk about, and that's Toby Walker, who obviously first time in the game in Bedlam, he pretty much limps his way to the end zone. Okay. He also looked pretty good going north and south in the second half, barreled over a couple of Cowboys, and didn't play a whole lot in the second half after that. So I think another week healing up. I do expect Toby Walker. He's a captain, right? I expect him to play, at least play. I don't know how much because I don't know who's going to play running back on this team.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You never know who's going to play because the personnel decision making is terrible. It needs to be fixed immediately. It probably isn't going to be. But the truth of the matter is that if Toby Walker, even though he's a captain, I know we've seen situations in which he could be a captain, maybe just due to the way he's bounced back in practice with the way he's led. Now, I don't think that necessarily determines that he's going to play a lot. Obviously, I don't know how they determine the captains and everything, so I can't necessarily say. But I think that Toby Walker will play to some extent. Now, I don't know if we have an update on Marcus Major. I hope to see him back this week. Hopefully, we can get him some run. But, I just think with a guy like Toby Walker, it's his fifth and final year. So just truly hoping that he doesn't risk something worse that maybe his future career could be altered by.
Now, is Toby gone? I was.
Yeah, he's a fifth year.
I thought he had another year. Hey, but listen, we don't know on all these injuries like Marcus Major. We have no clue if he's going to be available. To me, one of the biggest injuries and biggest problems has been Gentry Williams. Gentry Williams is a guy that even last week he started and played, but he didn't look healthy. They kind of went after him in the first half, and I don't know how healthy he was. And then he re-injured again, I think, at the end of the game. So I don't know about him. It'd be interesting to see if he's going to be back. But a guy I think that went out of the game against OSU that got injured a little bit, Key Lawrence, okay? Guys, Key Lawrence has been kind of struggling, okay? The first drive in the last two games, the first touchdown from the other team has been on a missed tackle by Key Lawrence that could have been for no yards, and it went for a huge gain. So he was making those plays early on, hasn't been as much. I think it's when if Bowen's healthy, I think Bowen or RSJ may get a lot more run this week.
Yeah, I expect obviously the competitive depth that's been preached. It's time for it. It's been time for it. These injuries almost compel or force you to play guys that maybe haven't as much. Other guys, Jay, that have been injured or are fully back. I mean, can you think of any other guys that have missed
Mason
time?
Thomas should be fully back. He hasn't
But
done
he's
much.
played. Peyton Bowen is another one that's been bruised, banged up, but I expect Bowen to be 100%, but we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, also, I feel like we haven't even heard Brent Venables talk about R. Mason Thomas that much at all when it comes to injury updates or.
There's no injury. He's healthy.
There's no injury. He's fully released.
He's just not.
Well, then he needs to play in at least 30 snaps a game.
Well, he's not making the most of his opportunities when he's in there, I guess. I mean, I don't know what's happened to the pass rush. I know a lot of people say that they put extra blockers in, but it's still you got one guy to beat on your edge until you get to that guy.
Yeah. No. What about tight end position injuries?
I would like to see Blake Smith play.
He's not injured.
Blake Smith plays all the time.
He does not play a lot of snaps a game.
When there's two tight ends, he's in there every time.
But there's not a lot. It's a lot of.
What about McIntyre?
I'd like to see a little bit of McIntyre. I would. I
have not heard if he's a full go or not. That's the question.
Yeah, I haven't heard it either.
Yeah, so I mean, they're really for the Sooners guys, it's a lot of just kind of knick-knack, naggy things on the injury side of things. Continually getting banged up, like Gentry Williams is one that just can't seem to shake it. I'm sure there's a lot of guys playing through things, but those are the injuries really that we know about, with Danny Stutzman's being the most. And really, you look at Stutzman and Walker, both ankle injuries. And I know, Jackson, you mentioned this, but you're not going to hurt your ankle worse to where it's just a matter of how much agility, flexibility, movement, how much can you really do on it? That's the big question with those guys. You know, they can play through the pain a little bit, but if they're going to hinder you because they can't have lateral movement or make cuts on it, you're really not fully healed. And I think that's what we got to look for tomorrow night. We'll make sure that we have a pregame live up tomorrow as they are going through the warm-up. So make sure, again, that you are subscribed to the Sooner Surge, because we will cover it as we hear it. We will drop it as we film it, and you guys will receive it as you are notified, and that's when you got to have your notifications on. So, again, we'll see what happens tomorrow night, see who's playing. But till next time, guys, Boomer.
Dooner.